in front of you is the team of Footcast, and we here are presenting you a Premier League preview. And there's a blockbuster clash on Saturday this weekend, and I sit in front of you to discuss the match that's going to be Manchester United versus Chelsea at Old Trafford. And I have three of my friends here with me. One of them is one sitting in the Old Trafford background, Mr. Shaurya. How are you? कैसा है?
All good, sir. Thanks for calling me.
How are you thanking me? कुछ करना, gift विफ्ट देना.
Bro, GPay coming into you like soon, by bot.
Thank you so much. So he's an Arsenal fan, and sitting next to him is Dave. He has started following Chelsea quite recently, and he's a long-term Barca fan. I know him. And how are you, Dave?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Nice. दोनों टीम सही चल रही है ना?
अब सही चल रही है. पहले मतलब ऐसे इधर उधर हो गया था. अब सबका सही अच्छा लगने लगा.
अभी तो चैंपियंस लीग में भी हो रहा है कुछ बार्सिलोना से.
भाई कुछ बने तो अच्छी बात है. अच्छी
बढ़िया है. ऑल द बेस्ट. सो
थैंक यू मैन.
उसके ऊपर आपको वीडियो में दिख रहा होगा मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के बैक 3 प्लेयर के बैकग्राउंड में ध्रुव लीलानी, वन ऑफ माय क्लोजेस्ट फ्रेंड्स. हाउ आर यू ध्रुव?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm amazing. मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड वर्सेस चेल्सी का मैच है. मजा आएगा सैटरडे को.
बहुत मजा आएगा. Good. It'll be one that'll be a classic.
Nice. That's really exciting to hear. And so, yeah, we are going to start a discussion about how these teams are going to play. So, I want to start with Shaurya, and I want you to answer this query that many of the Chelsea fans even have. I've talked to Dave, and he has told me that are Chelsea performing as well defensively as they probably should have this season?
I feel with Chelsea, I'll talk about Chelsea specifically. Chelsea, they're leaking too many goals. I mean, with West Brom, we saw that everyone realizes the comeback, but no one kind of remembers in the back of their head that they were 3-0 down within 30 minutes. And again with Southampton, they were just leaking goals for fun, and that's not how Premier League football is going to work, because you have teams like Arsenal, Everton, Leicester, United, Tottenham, City, Liverpool attacking your defenses, and Southampton, who aren't that an attacking team, if you leak 3 goals to them, I don't think that's acceptable.
I can relate. I do understand your point there. So coming to Dave, Chelsea, you've seen them very closely. How are your player analysis? I mean, how do you think the players? Is it the new signings, or is it just that Frank Lampard is finding his best 11 currently?
Yeah, I would go with the latter, because I think against Sevilla we played Zuma and Thiago Silva. So Silva seems more settled in now. He's feeling up to it. So I feel that we have found our best 5 defensively, including Mendy at the goal. And see, the attacking prowess of Chelsea is second to none as of now, because if everyone kicks in, if Pulisic and Ziyech, they come back to their full fitness, we'll look really great offensively as well. But I would just like to see one change in the midfield, that is Kovacic, our last season's best player, like internally in the Chelsea. He was the best player last year. I would like him to make more starts against Jorginho, because I think he can give us that balance in the attack as well as defensively. So that one change can be massive for us.
I can understand. I truly understand, because I remember that Mateo Kovacic was the player of the season for Chelsea last year, and that is a commendable prize to earn. So, like we discussed, you mentioned the fact about the attack of Chelsea being second to none, but it's just the fact that they've just come off from a 0-0 draw. So, what do you have to say about that? I mean, was the attack toothless? Were they not coordinating? What was the issue there?
See, the game being a draw, I see a win there, because we didn't concede any goals, right? And talking about the offensive issues, I felt that during the first half, Pulisic Mason Mount and Havertz, their first touches were not great, right? So that was a big problem for Chelsea to be in the penalty box of Sevilla and then, maybe have a shot at the goal. So, because these guys have not played collectively in one squad over a period of time, they're still building up to it. And I feel if with not with Manchester United, these guys in 2 or 3 games they'll be doing much better with their first touches. With the in the opening half itself, we'll be seeing a lot of goals.
Obviously, and we of course have to talk about Manchester United, and they are very, very high on confidence. Park de Princes, Marcus Rashford, 87th, 88th minute winner. I have heard that before. And Marcus Rashford just made that stadium his own. It's his second goal there. And Dhruv, I want to know how do you think this attack of Manchester United are going to perform against Chelsea's back four, or maybe that matter back five if they choose to go there.
So the attack, I think I have no doubts that Rashford and Bruno will perform. They'll perform well. They'll give it their everything they have in this match, and I expect Edison Cavani to be somewhere in the match. If not, if he doesn't start, I expect him to be featured later on around the second half or maybe around 60 minutes, which is usually Ole's time to be making his substitutions. But he definitely should get featured. And even if Cavani is not featured, Marcus Rashford is very much capable of leading the line for United. And if he has Dan James on his left and maybe Mata again, like we saw in the last league match against Newcastle, we have the quality. We have the players that want to push themselves. And of course, we have Bruno, who is a big, big game changer. Bruno involved in the last 20 goals directly in his last 18 matches. So since his debut in the competition, more than any other player in the Premier League. And he was captain. He was the captain against PSG. And maybe that will change since if Maguire will be starting again. But it was a very positive result. The attack looks sharp. Everybody, all the boys look confident, and I think this is the moment when you prove to the other club that they should be afraid of you.
Yeah, and particularly talking about Manchester United, the concerns have been more towards the defense because I feel that before the Newcastle game, our defense was shambles. I mean, it was really frustrating. We saw the 6-1 loss to Tottenham, and we just couldn't handle them. So defense has been a problem for Manchester United. But in the last league game against Newcastle, we saw Harry Maguire score. So what do you think, Shaurya? I mean, what do you think? Does that affect a player mentally because he's been through a rough patch? Harry Maguire has been through a really rough patch, and what does that goal give to him?
And then the answer is very simple: confidence. A player needs that confidence, and he needs to prove it to his team members that he can lead the club because he is the captain. And
Yeah.
you need to set an example. Obviously, you don't expect a defender to score week in, week out, but you expect your defender to be rock solid. And Maguire, we've seen that he hasn't been that. So scoring a goal, even though it's on the other end of the pitch, it gives him that confidence. The teammates start to believe in him. There's a bit more synergy in the team because there were rumors about collision in the dressing room
Yeah,
in at halftime
after
between
the Tottenham game.
between
Yeah.
United and Tottenham. Yes. So I feel it gives confidence and synergy is what's needed, and Maguire needs confidence from his team members, and it's going to push him. So obviously it'll do Ole, United, and his team members a lot of good, and himself definitely. So I think he will get better, hopefully for United, because firstly he's a big money signing,
Yeah.
and United expect a lot from him.
That's really nice to hear because I mean we want to pick some of the players from teams like the people who are gonna affect the match massively. According to you guys, starting from through who do you think is it going to be from United? Is it going to be one of these defenders or maybe Bruno or Rashford? Because I saw Tuanzebe play in the match against PSG, and to be very frank,
Yeah.
Tuanzebe and Van Bissaka, these two defenders, I mean, they simply were spot on. they were required. They were required in certain positions, and they were always there. So, who do you think is going to affect this game massively, Dhruv?
Uh, Attacking as well as defense, I think there are a lot of players. I think Bruno is there as always. Bruno is somebody who can change the, in a matter of minutes. In the matter of a few minutes, he can score a goal or like get a penalty for his team. But what we saw against PSG when the team was defending, the whole team was defending. Not the whole team, but let's say six, seven, all of them were back. And not just defenders, the midfield. Our midfield was very strong defensively, and looks at the top of his game again.
Yeah.
So I really with Chelsea's very dangerous attack. I think Daya will be a very important to us, and I
Mm-hmm.
think this is time for him to get redemption over that FA Cup semi-final that we lost
Mm-hmm.
due to some of his blunders. I think this is the redemption time for David De Gea right now, and I think he's very much up for it. I
Yeah.
think he's gonna be. I think David De Gea and Bruno Fernandes. These are the two players that are going to influence the match for United.
David Dea obviously was the man of the match against PSG. He was awarded that,
And
and
well,
it was a brilliant performance from him. So, Dave, you've heard from Dhruv, you've heard from a Manchester United fan. They expect De Gea and they expect Bruno to perform. What does Chelsea need to win this game?
I'll tell you. Okay, I'll simply show it to you. We need
Okay,
this guy to perform, nothing else.
okay,
If he
Timo Werner.
performs, if he comes back, he comes back defensively and he attacks as well. So if he plays his best game against Manchester United, then we'll definitely win. There's no problem about that. And the other thing that we need is that the Chelsea defense line should hold it up. They should relax. They should calm themselves, and they should communicate between themselves that they have been doing since the past two matches. Yes, we have seen goals just going because we didn't communicate, because our players were not where they should have been. So these two things will win us the match.
That's nice to hear. Sure, your views. You're a neutral on this game. What are your views on it?
It could surprise people, but for United, I'm gonna list two main men. Firstly, it has to be Rashford. I feel he's just incredible, and his goal against PSG, I was really impressed
Yeah,
because I've seen him try to finesse it in, but that was pure power, and I
yeah.
loved it. And the second man I feel which will be crucial for United is Victor Lindelof,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel he was great against PSG. I know Tronzebe and Van Bissaka were impressive, but I feel in that back four that United have, or if they plan to go to a back five again, I feel Lindelof will play an important role. And for Chelsea, I think it has to be Havertz to just find that vision, just for the vision primarily.
Yeah, I do think similarly. Even I think that midfielders. That's the reason why I'm going to pick Havertz from Chelsea and Bruno from Manchester United to be the players who are going to make a huge impact, because midfielders, I mean, let's be honest, are the most important players on the field. Midfielders are the most creative. They have to work a lot. So I do feel Kai Havertz has to perform. I mean, if he does not perform, they lack that creativity in midfield. And similarly for Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. So there's a simple session that we're gonna have. We're gonna keep it short. I want predictions one by one from everyone. No going here and there and explaining your result. I just want a result. Mr. Dev.
Okay, just a short note that we haven't won on at Old Trafford since 2013, and I firmly believe that we are gonna do this time. So it's gonna be a two-win victory to Chelsea, and that is it. Thanks.
Okay. Dhruv.
this is gonna be a very very tight match in my opinion, and I'm gonna be on the fence on this one and say that we're gonna go with a draw, and it'll be a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw. It won't be a goalless draw. That's for sure.
True that. Shora, what do you have to say on this?
Similar answer as Dhruv. I had that in mind that it's going to be a draw. It's either going to be a 2-2 or a 1-1 in my opinion.
That's really nice. So
Yeah,
Two people think that it's going to be a goal scoring draw, people, and Dave is pretty confident that Chelsea is going to get their Old Trafford win. The last one there in 2013. Obviously, we go and win at Stamford Bridge quite often, so it's not a big deal for Manchester United. So yeah, we'll see you at the game. It's a very important game. All the best to every fan, all the players, all the fans, both the managers, two great teams, Frank Lampard and Solskjaer, both ex-players of their respective clubs. I do hope a very, very intense game, and let's just hope to see goals because that's what football is about.